Hi, everybody. I'm so excited for our Monday Night Live, and it's July. So, we're going to do Christmas in July. We're going to start with Joette making a candy cane wreath. Then we'll come back and I'm going to make a wreath. And then we'll go back to Joette and she's going to make a wreath. So, it's going to be a really fun time. And we're going to make 3 wreaths in less than 30 minutes and maybe more. So, let's get started. Joette, I'm giving you the stage.
Well, hello everybody. I've got my length of Bowdabra bow wire already ready. I'm going to place it in the Bowdabra, tuck the ends underneath and out of the way. And how I started was I took one of these wire candy cane forms, and I've just wrapped it with some 2.5 inch wide ribbon. You can hot glue it too, but you don't have to. So what I'm doing is twisting and pulling it really tight, and then I'm going to go around to the back side, try to get it where you can see, and I'm just going to make a knot or a half knot and pull it tight, and then you can cut this excess off, and then you can just tuck it back under into one of the paths where you cross to wrap it. That you can hot glue it again, and you can, if you're selling it, you definitely want to. So it looks like that. So it's totally covered. So if it's on a glass door, it will look
Hi,
the same.
Sue. Hi, Monica.
So we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to take some, well, we need another, oh, I already put it in. I'm always afraid I'm going to forget to put my bow wire in. So I'm going to take some berries that I cut off a stem. There's a little Christmas berries, and I'm just going to place some in on this is what I'm going to call the top side, and this is what I'm going to call the bottom side. So I'm just going to place these down in the Bowdabra. So I've got one that's a little bit longer, so it'll hang down the candy cane better, so you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and place this in, and I've got the base of my bow and my swag for my candy cane wreath. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the 1.5 inch wide, looks like Christmas sweater ribbon, and I'm going to go ahead and do a twist and fold. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it in like a shoe bow so I can kind of help guide the direction. So I want them to pretty much go as close to the same direction as possible. So I don't want the tails too overwhelming on this, but I am going to have a lot of tails. So I've got the first two, they're about 20 inches long, and I'm going to do the same thing, make a shoe bow, but this time, again, I'm going the same direction. This time I want to fold my tails to the opposite side. So I'm going to try to get my loops the same size. And the Bowdabra holds it for you while you adjust it. So my loops are the same size, and my tails are going opposite directions like that. And now I've got, looks like 4 pieces. I want a six loop bow maybe. And I'm going to, I've already got it pre-dovetailed. So I've left my last tail off here. So I'm going to place this down, leave about a 1/2 inch overhang, and make 1 loop. And I'm going to have longer tails this time. So I'm going to do
Hi,
the same
Rose.
thing.
Hi, Gloria.
I may lose control of having them going the same direction at this point, but the majority of them will. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep pulling my tails opposite directions as I place the loops down. So I'm going to keep going. I'm rotating sides every time I do this. So 1/2 inch overhang, fold it back over. You don't even have to twist on this bow. Again, just keep going until you run out of ribbon. And always keep the tails. You don't have to, you can stack them, but I always kind of keep rotating my tails and get them where I want them. So that's my last tail, so I want to start my new loop, and this will be my last. So go ahead and give it a good scrunch. And then I'm going to take, instead of putting an ornament or another berry in the center, I'm going to take a piece of Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon. It's about a 24-inch long piece, and I'm just going to scrunch it down in here. It's waterproof, so if you put it outside, it's going to last just like an ornament would. And you got an opportunity here to get it straight in case you didn't pull it in there even. I think I got it pretty even. Give it a good scrunch. And now I'm going to take my Bowdabra bow wire, pull the loose ends to the looped end and pull it tight while it's still down in the Bowdabra. Then I can remove it, set that aside. And we want to separate the ends, pull them tight, pull them to the back of the bow, tie them in a knot. You can keep pulling it too. Keep pulling. You don't want any slack in it at all. That way you don't need to hot glue it if you don't want to. So now we're going to fluff. I'm just going to separate my loops and tails. Separate them and fluff them out. You want to run your fingers through the loops and smooth them out. Give them a good round fluff. Keep pulling and separating until you want to touch every single one of them. Don't leave a loop untouched. Fluff. Make sure your tails are straight. You can run your fingers across them like this and give them a nice natural adjustment. Do that. They won't look forced, they'll look natural. So I've got it all fluffed now. And then, of course, if you need to move your scrunchy ribbon around a little bit, you can do that. So everything's showing. Looks like I dropped a couple pieces of berry. You can use that in my lantern when I do that next. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull the wires apart again and just wrap them around your candy cane. You could also hot glue it on, but you don't have to. So I'm going to twist this so it stays where I want it and it doesn't slip until I can get it tied. So just give it a good twist. Actually, I like to do it like that, and it's not going to slide around a whole lot. So give it a good tie, give it a knot. And again, if you want to go back later and hot glue it, you can. But as you make it, you really don't need to do that. So then you want to give it one more good fluffing when you get it onto your project. And then you have, just in minutes, this beautiful and simple and very, very inexpensive candy cane wreath. And there we go.
It's really pretty, Joette. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go back to me, and I am going to make a wreath. Now, what I've done here is I took some of our 3-inch wide burlap, and I just wrapped a Dollar Tree frame, a metal frame, and then I took a Dollar Tree scarf and just tied it onto my wreath. And then what I'm going to do is just put this aside, and I'm going to now go to our, I'll try to find our overhead camera, and we're going to make the bow for our wreath. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my silver Bowdabra bow wire. Whoops, I just dropped it on the floor. Okay. And let me make sure this is long enough to tie onto my wreath. So take a piece here, clip it, and I'm going to fold it in half and lay it down into my Bowdabra and just tuck the end underneath. And then what I'm going to do is, bear with me for just 1 second. And now what I'm going to do is take my green snowflake ribbon, and we've already dovetailed the ends. I'm just going to fold it in half and lay this down into my Bowdabra. I just folded it in half to find the center. And then I have my red snowflake ribbon, and we're just going to lay that down in here. So we're just making some tails. And I have some more of my green. I love this snowflake ribbon. It's so nice to work with. And take this piece here and just lay this down. Then I'm going to take my green snowflake ribbon and make sure I have the right side up. And I'm just going to have about a 1/2 inch tail. That way it doesn't fall out of my Bowdabra. And I'm just going to fold it back over and twist. Now don't forget that we have over 1,000 videos on our YouTube channel. And so definitely check us out on YouTube. And on Facebook, we have always new Facebook posts. Every day we have like 2 new posts. So definitely make sure that you follow us on Facebook and check out our Facebook channel. So now we have those loops. And then what I'm going to do is take my red and I'm just going to twist it. And I'm going to make my red loops a little bit smaller than my green loops. I'm just going to fold and twist. And after I'm done with this, Joette is going to make the wreath that was on the thumbnail for this event, which is really pretty. I love the blues that she used. And we're just going to fold and twist and fold it back over and twist and fold this back over here. And then I have this cute little pick that I'm just going to lay down into the center. Take my wand and give everything a good push down to the center here. And now I'm just going to bring this up and pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. Pull it out. I'm going to just separate my ends, bring it around to the back, and tie a knot. Oh, thank you guys for sharing. That's so sweet. And tie another knot. And then what I'm going to do is shape this out. So I'm going to just pull my tails down and pull these tails down here and just bring this around here. It's been so hot here. I'm in Las Vegas and it was like 108 degrees. Oh my goodness. Talk about hot. And so I've been walking my dog at night because it's much cooler when the sun goes down. And for a Siberian Husky in this heat, so now I'm going to tie this onto my wreath. So I'm going to let this all hang down. So I'm going to tie this here with my tails going down and bring it around to the back. And I'm going to tie it here. And I'm going to do the same trick that Joette did by just twisting it, which is what's great about the wire, because the Bowdabra wire is a wire, but it's also a cord. So it allows it to have the malleability of a wire, but also gives it the cord, which gives it the strength that you need for the wire. So let's go up to the, all right, let's see. Let's go to the front camera. So now you can see how pretty this came out. Isn't that pretty? And so super simple to make. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to Joette and we're going to let Joette get started making the beautiful blue wreath.
Sandy, I love that. I love the little sash going across like that.
Thank you.
I have got length of Bowdabra bow wire again cut, and I'm going to place it down in the Bowdabra. And I'm using some ribbon from Bowdabra.com. There are 2 different types of snowflake ribbons. One's a sheer glittery, and then one's the navy and silver and white. So I've got about a yard of tails already pre-dovetailed in here. You can curl them if you want. These are, it's so thin, I went ahead and dovetailed it. So I'm placing tails in first. Let's see. Yeah, that's my tails. I've got some longer, some shorter because I don't want to hide any of the berries I'm using, because this again is a minimal kind of a wreath. It doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in it. So I'm going to take them, just, you can use scraps, pieces of stuff that you've cut out of your Christmas tree, berry stems and stuff to make these. So I'm taking, actually I'll do a shoe bow. So I'm going to find the center and I'm going to place this ribbon in upside down, and I'm just going to form some loops. This is an easy way to do it if you've got pieces of ribbon, and also if you're trying to keep your ribbons going the same direction if they're patterns. I've got another tail cut. I'm going to place this down. So I'm going to put the shorter tails going upward. The longer tails, I always say let them hang down. These tails are meant to hang down, but if you are using them shorter, you can also have them simulating loops and say ribbon. So I've got another piece of a shorter one. I'm going to make tails. Just kind of layer these ribbons. And there's not a whole lot to this bow, but it's going to make a pretty good impact. So I'm going to fold this in half. And it's about, not quite, it's probably about 30 inches. So I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to place it in upside down in the center. And I'm just going to fold my loops over. This, you don't have to twist and fold when you do it this way. You're just folding. Just make sure the right side ends up on the top. All right, so now I've got, let's see, let's go ahead and place these berries. I've got a berry pick. I want it to hang down, so I'm going to place it in. You can put it on the side, either side, it doesn't matter, but I also want it to, I don't want it slipping, so I'm going to bend a little bit of a hook there. And this is going to face up. It's a glitter poinsettia that matches my lighter ribbon. I'm going to put it up here on this side. And then I'm going to finish it off with this narrow silver swirl. It's kind of a sheer white with silver, so I'm going to find the center. Get those ends even. Place it in upside down and make a nice large shoe bow. Make sure that the right side stays up. And now we're going to tie it up, but I'm going to give it a good scrunch first. We'll make sure those loops are even. So this is what it looks like right now. And I'm going to pull it out and remove the wires from underneath. It's one wire, but it's folded in half, so it makes two. So I'm going to pull the loose ends to the looped end. Pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. And then remove it. Pull tight. Separate the ends. Bring them to the back. Follow where it came from. Don't, if there's, when you have stems, sometimes you end up going, or you might go around them. Follow your trail. Stay on track where you originally had the wire. So let's pull tight. I'm going to tie it in a knot. And just give it a little bit of a fluffing. We don't want to do too much because it's actually going to be reshaped again after we tie it on the wreath. But I want to show you what it looks like before we tie it. Get those tails down, and you can just run your fingers across the tails, and it gives it a nice clean shape. It'll curl it just a little bit too. And I want to make sure that the flower is in place and shaped because I kind of smashed it. You'll end up with a beautiful bow like this. This is not hardly any ribbon in this, and it looks big already. I'm going to set this aside and bring the Bowdabra back. And
it's gorgeous just by itself, Joette.
Yeah, you could put that on a wreath. You could put it on a gift. Oh my goodness, they wouldn't want to open that if they saw that on a gift. So I've got another length of Bowdabra bow wire. It's a little bit long because I need it to wrap around my wreath. So I'm going to place that down in the Bowdabra. And I've just got some Christmas greens. And the way I'm showing you this, if you wanted to take them apart and reuse them again, that's you can do that if you don't hot glue it. It'll stay together with your Bowdabra bow wire, but you may want to use it again at Christmas another way. So here we go. I've got this big pick or big stem. It's Christmas greens. It's assorted pine cones and stuff, and I'm going to place it down in the Bowdabra. So I'm going to go up a little bit higher if I can. I don't want it to overpower my wreath. And I've got another branch. They don't even have to match. They can just greens. It looks pretty when you layer different greens. So this is my bottom. This is my top. I always make my bottoms cascade when I make them. Let me get a hold of it. So anything longer and cascading is usually on the bottom half when I'm showing you how to make it. And I do a short, either a teardrop or a shorter upward cascade when I do it on the top half. So this is some kind of blingy berry bush, and I'm going to fold it a little bit so it won't slip. But I do want it to show when the bow's on. So I've got it all in the Bowdabra. Now I'm going to reach under here and get my wire. Then you pull your loose ends through your loop in while it's still in the Bowdabra. Pull it out. If I had some flowers in this now, you wouldn't even need a bow. I mean, you could just pull the flower forward and have it for a centerpiece or a door swag or anything. So I'm going to flip it over, keep pulling it tight. And this method, again, you don't need any hot glue if you have it tight. That's the secret. Keep it tight. So if you get it tight, you can still pull and see there's slack. Keep pulling it or twist. Now we're going to tie it in a knot. Whoop. Make sure it's nice and secure. And we don't even have to fluff this. We can just make sure the greens are going, not squished or smashed, just kind of like you would a Christmas tree. Pull your greens out. But that would be on that certain green. This pine down here doesn't do that. So I have this swag, and now I'm going to lay that aside and get my wreath. And I think I want to put it on, let's see, this side. This is thinner, so I'm going to use this side. So all we do now is find the location that you want your wreath to hang. And I think I usually end up tying around the 10 o'clock point. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this around the wreath. And I did cut my wires long enough that they will wrap around. And I can pull them back up to the top and tie it on here. There's less mess showing on the back when you do that, but it also helps.
I love
you get
this
it
because you can
secure.
do it without having to use a hot glue gun or anything. It makes it really easy to add it to the wreath by using the Bowdabra.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to cut the excess wires off, and I just want to make sure I have it in place before I add my bow, and I can kind of shape the top. I'll make the top go a little bit towards the wreath like that, and I want this to swag down, and then that, of course, when I get the bow on, I'll fluff it. But also, you can go back, and because if you're making these to sell, you do want them. You don't want anything to happen to them, so you could go back and glue them, but you have extra security on them when you tie them first and then put the hot glue on, if you need the hot glue. So now I'm going to take the wreath bow, find the center, and I can wrap it back around the front if I have enough wire, and I do. So I'm going to pull it up under the bow. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm pulling it tight, and I'm going to tie it in a knot right underneath the tails. Give it a little twist, and then finish my knot. So it's not going to slip while I'm trying. You don't have to have somebody stick their finger down and hold it while in the half knot so it doesn't slip. You can just give it a twist. And I'm going to cut off the excess wire. And now we can fluff a little bit again. Get it. This is one of those I need to stand up on. I didn't get my stand-up table over here today like I wanted to, so I could show you. But you end up, once you fluff it, you'll end up with a beautiful wreath. Will it even fit on the screen? Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
But now it's facing towards you, so we need it to face towards you. That looks really pretty.
Thank you. But it's so super simple. There's hardly anything to this, but it makes a huge impact. And you did it pretty much with a third hand and no hot glue.
It's amazing. So you know what, Joette, I'm going to let you make your final bow. We have just enough time we've got about 5 minutes, so we can have you make your other bow that you have.
Okay, I'll do it. And I'm going to start out with, I'm going to switch to gold Bowdabra bow wire because these snowflakes in this little snow globe I'm going to make are kind of sparkly and gold. So I can't resist these. I love these snow globes. So I want to have them out all year long, but sometimes it's just not appropriate. So now is the chance to use it, so it's going to be out. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Bowdabra bow wire, fold it in half, and place it down in the Bowdabra. Tuck the ends underneath and out of the way. And I'm using some of this beautiful cardinal ribbon from Bowdabra.com as well. So I'm going to take a couple of these berry stems. You know what? I'll put those in the top. This is just going to be a bow, but it's also similar to a lantern swag. So I'm going to start out with this, making a 1/2 inch overhang and place this upside down and flip it over. So I don't want the bow to overpower my lantern, but I also want my cardinals to show. So I'm going to do the same thing, opposite side, 1/2 inch overhang. Get the loop about equal and place that in. And I'm going to put my tails going opposite directions. So I did the same thing. There's only 4 pieces of this. They're about 18 inches long. So continue going opposite sides after you put one in. And I want this loop to, or the tail to go up. And I've got one more. Again, we're using stuff that we're making nice little pieces and hardly using any material. So I'm on the opposite side. And I'm going to scrunch that down. So I've got these little pieces of berries, and these 2 fell off of the first project I made. So I'm just going to place 2 on each side. I'm going to fold them over so they're not in my way. I could cut them down, but you can fold them as well. They don't show. Place those in. And then I've got these 2 red berries, so I'm going to place those in on top of the little white. It matches everything I'm doing. So if you look inside the lantern, there's cardinals in there. So it's really pretty, and it's got some white, so the white berries kind of match the snowman and looks good with the snowflakes. So this is about 16, 18 inches of a little mesh ribbon. I'm just going to fold it accordion style, scrunchy bow style, ruffle bow style, whatever you want to call it, down into the Bowdabra to give it a center, and I'm rolling the ends underneath. They're not going to fray, but I don't want the raw edges showing. And now I'm going to take my Bowdabra bow wire, again pull the loose ends through the loop in while it's still in the Bowdabra, pull it tight, and release it. And then I'm going to separate my ends. Right now I'm pulling it tight again, pulling it to the back. And I like to take it and pull down on it, pull the bow forward and pull up on the wires, and it gets it even tighter. Now I can tie a knot. I want to go ahead and give it just a little bit of a fluff. Round out your loops. Separate your tails. You want to round out your bow, give it a pretty shape, and then might separate some of these berries. They have wires, so they'll move. If they don't have wires, then that's fine too. Then we have this beautiful bow, and then I'm just going to use it for the top of the lantern. So I'm going to go ahead and take my wire. I know it's a little bit big for this lantern, but it actually it draws your eyes to it. I'm going to just tie it into a bow. I love making bows for my lanterns because you can switch them up seasonally. You can customize them. You don't have to leave them on because I always tie them on with the shoe bow. But you end up with this beautiful, let me find the front, beautiful lantern, and that's a good, cute little lantern
That's
bow. You
really
can go
pretty.
Thank you. I
So we
wish you could
made
see how
tonight,
actually.
yeah, no, it's really pretty. So tonight I made 1 wreath, you made 2, and you made the lantern swag. So so there's the beautiful wreath and, candy cane wreath. I couldn't think of the word, and the lantern swag. And
Whoops.
I'll come back up and show my wreath, which came out really pretty. So that was our wonderful Monday Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was so much fun having you all. And I will look forward to seeing everybody next week. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.